War Week Radio. Guys, happy Sunday to everyone. You know, I'm just always giddy after a full, complete fight weekend. Boy, we had so many great fights, guys, so this is going to be a packed show. We might even go into the 90-minute mark once again. Guys, but before we get started and introduce the star of the program, we do have to remind everyone that the show is brought to you by Box.Buzz, B-U-Z-Z, and FightSaga.com. Guys, for all the latest boxing news, please go visit Box.Buzz. It's your centralized hub for the latest boxing news, linking in every major boxing news wire. Box.Buzz, guys, go visit it. Guys, but this would not be a Sunday evening without the counsel of our very good friend, master strategist and expert fight trainer, the one and only Mr. James Gogue. James, how the heck are you, brother?
Hey, Joe, I'm doing good. We had a lot of great fights over this past weekend. And, it was a good weekend of boxing. You know, boxing is starting to pick up, okay? Yeah, I can see it, slowly picking up. And when, this virus passes or the scamdemic passes, and they let people back into the, the stadiums and everything, that's when it's going to start really picking up even more, you know what I mean?
Yeah, even though it was a last-minute thing, and I'll say this before we get started on everything, even though it was a last-minute announcement and it was last-minute transferal of sites to the location in the Alamodome, it was really nice to see fans in the venue cheering on their favorite fighters. Even though it was a sparsely populated arena, Alamodome, that customarily fits 70,000, and it was reduced to an attendance of 9,000, a little bit more than 9,000 last night. It was just really nice to see fans in the arena and hearing legitimate cheers and boos. So credit to Mayweather Promotions, PBC, and Showtime Sports for staging that event last night. Gogue, so we've got a packed show, brother. And let me just get this out of the way real quick, okay? Now, I've received a lot of messages asking, well, I wonder what Coach Gogue thinks about Deontay Wilder's outlandish and crazy accusations about Tyson Fury cheating in both their fights. Okay, well, let me just say this, guys. I've downloaded the video, right? So I'm going to play that midway through the show. But on Coach Gogue's show, we like to focus on the fights. We don't like to waste his time usually with the soap opera portion of boxing and all the fan-driven drama. And that's what category this lies into. But we will make this exception midway through the show, okay? But most of the time we don't like to waste Coach Gogue's time with that. We usually like to pick his brain on the X's and O's of boxing, as well as we value his knowledge of the business of the sports as well. So, Gogue, I'm going to rattle off the 4 big headliners this weekend, and you tell me in level of performance or importance, not only to the respective division, but to the overall landscape and health of the sport. Gervonta Davis's KO in the 6th round over Leo Santa Cruz. Oleksandr Usyk's unanimous 12-round decision over Dereck Chisora. Naoya Inoue, KO7 over Jason Maloney. Or Jaime Munguia's KO6. Oof, that split lip of Tureano Johnson. Oof. Which one would you like to tackle first, sir?
Well, I think the 2 top fights are the Davis and Santa Cruz and the Munguia and Tureano Johnson. And, whatever fight you want to discuss first, Joe, I'll tell you the importance of both of them.
Well, let's go to San Antonio, the Alamodome. That seems to be the one because of how it ended. That seems to be currently the toast of the boxing community right now. Obviously, Gervonta Davis getting the 6th round KO against the customarily durable Leo Santa Cruz. It was a shock for everyone to see because this is a guy, Gogue, who's never been – he's only been on the canvas once, and that was an incorrect call by the ref. To see him stretch like that and completely put to sleep by a single shot, boy, that was something to behold. And, yeah, that's why everyone's still buzzing about it. Your thoughts on Gervonta Davis's resounding knockout performance over Leo Santa Cruz?
It was he made a big statement. Every time you score a big knockout like that, spectacular knockout like that, people are going to be talking about him, okay, in the boxing world. Gervonta, like we talked about last week, he's a bull, physically strong, explosive, lightning quick counters like Teofimo Lopez, and he's heavy-handed. He can hurt you at any time during the fight and everything. So, and just the way he ended the fight, he closed the show. Oh yeah, you got knockouts like that, get a lot of people's attention and everything. But we all know who the real WBA champion is. Okay, they try to sell this shit as the WBA title fight. Give me a fucking break, man. Come on, man. That's what's making me sick about boxing. Okay, and it's losing its credibility by them doing that. Just a few weeks ago, Teofimo Lopez, he upset the odds and beat one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world, okay? And he won that, he unified all the belts. And all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, they're advertising, the WBA champion again, and, that gets fans confused. So it was a great win for him, but, get rid of them fucking belts, man, okay? I know they're trying to sell it as a championship fight, but come on, man. Fans ain't that stupid, okay? That basically they're telling us we're stupid and ignorant. You know what I mean? Like we don't know. But yeah, that's why boxing. That's one of the big problems in boxing is WBA cause. But it was a spectacular win. Tank, like I said, I didn't think Leo had the the punching power to get his respect or attention early on. And when you're fighting a bully like Gervonta Davis, you got to punch him in the mouth, get his respect. Put some fear in him. Some doubt. And by the fifth round, you can see Gervonta starting pressing the action, using his superior physical strength and in his punching power. You see early on, man, when they got inside, man, how Tank just threw him off him, how he pushed him around. Right then and there, I'm like, man, this guy's too strong for Leo. You know what I mean? And Leo better be smart.
Yeah, he even body slammed him at one point, Gogue.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could see he was too strong, and that told me right there, man. He better start boxing him and not trying to get in a slugfest with him, man. But, Leo's biggest mistake is, one of the keys to victory or to be competitive in the fight, I said last week, is to stay out the ropes, stay out the corners, keep everything in the center of the ring and keep turning them. Don't let him, get a chance. Don't stand in front of him so he can set his feet to land them big explosive counters or them bombs. And Leo tried to, trade with him. And like I said, Joe, in the last 30 years, let me tell you this, Joe. I'm gonna tell the people listening out there. It takes a high degree of skill when you got your back on the ropes. Okay, Joe. It takes a high degree of skill to fight off the ropes. Okay, fighting off the ropes is the same thing as fighting in the pocket, close range in the pocket. Okay, when you're on the ropes, same fundamentals. Okay, like fighting in the pocket. Setting your feet good fundamental stance. Hands up, elbows tucked in real tight, and get a good defensive position because you're on the ropes, a danger zone. You're a punching bag. And if you're not, thinking defensively, you're going to get caught, especially when you're trying to exchange with a guy. But, there's only two fighters I've seen in the last 30 years that were highly skilled that have the ability to fight off the ropes effectively. The last 20 years, I say. And that's James Toney and Orlando Salido, okay? Then, I've seen guys like Chavez, Julio Cesar Chavez, was masters of fighting out the ropes. Guys like that. I remember Bobby Chacon, he used to love to use the ropes, the corners, and fight off them, the set traps, so he could land them big bombs of his. Tony Lopez was like that too, but it takes a high degree of skill and guts. Hey, man, shit, that's a danger zone, Joe. And when you're on the ropes, you see nowadays, a lot of guys, they panic. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to do because they don't know how to fight a pressure fighter or they don't know how to fight in the pocket. So they get on the ropes and they ain't got nowhere to go. You can see they're uncomfortable. But if you got good skills like Salido or Tony, man, they love fighting out the ropes, man. They love, they love setting traps. They love, hitting you with sharp counters. And Santa Cruz, man, he was just all offensive. You know what I mean? And that threw 3 straight right hands. He didn't make, what's his name made that adjustment and caught him with that counter left uppercut and lights out. The way he finished, Joe, was spectacular. And guess what, Joe? He got the lightweight division hot. I mean, he got it hot. Okay, guys like him, Lopez, who's the real WBA champion, Haney, and Ryan Garcia. But the thing is, like Devin Haney said yesterday, he tweeted, the 135-pound division is the best, hottest division in boxing. And then I tweeted him back. I said, it's only hot if you fight each other, okay? They haven't fought each other. All they're doing is talking and posturing, you know what I mean? Not like back in the days, Hearns, Leonard, Hagler, Duran, okay? They call them the Four Horsemen back then. They fought each other, okay? You don't see that nowadays, man. They talk till I see them start matching them against each other. Then it becomes a hot division, okay? But it potentially has potentially it has the marketability to be hot. Just like, the 147-pound division where Earl Spence got to fight everybody except Terrence Crawford, the big fight. But, Gervonta just is not – he made a statement, and he created some great matchups between him and Teofimo Lopez. And, man, just get rid of that phony belt, man. I can't believe it, you know what I mean? They're trying to, like he's the champion. There's only one champion, and that's Teofimo Lopez. He beat the man. I mean, Leo Santa Cruz, he's a little, light in the weight, light in weight. He's not really a natural 130-pounder or a 35-pounder or whatever. You know what I mean? So, and you know what I mean, Joe. It's a good win because Leo's a good name. Former world champion, but it was not like Teofimo Lopez's victory over Lomachenko, where Lomachenko was a top 3 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and he upset the lot. He upset the odds big time, 4-1. Tank was a 7-1 favorite. He was supposed to do that. So that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? A great victory, but not as big as Teofimo's.
Indeed. Well, let's go back and look at the action in the first round. I think it surprised a lot of people, and myself included, that immediately, and like you stated earlier, that Leo Santa Cruz was offensive-minded from the word go. And he seemed to have some mild to good success in the first 2 rounds. So what did it? What turned around the fight in the third round for Gervonta Davis? What did he start doing more effectively to set up that big knockout in the 6th?
The quick counters. He was countering Lito. He started them straight left hands to the body, them right uppercuts to the body. That kind of slowed down Leo's ability to counter. Because Leo was countering real good, okay? Gervonta, Leo would throw, Gervonta would counter back, then Leo would counter right back, okay? You know what I mean? That's where it was going, I think the first couple rounds. He was beating him to the punch, beating him to the counter, and staying ahead of him, just staying one step ahead of him, not hurting him or nothing, but just outpointing him, man. Then, as the fight goes on, his superior firepower, in his punching power, his physical strength is eventually going to take over. So you can see Tank started, them body shots, the straight left hand to the body, he was working effectively, and them right uppercuts, and them slick, quick counter not right uppercuts, counter left uppercuts, excuse me, and stuff like that, Joe. It started taking Leo off his game plan and everything, and he was staying flat-footed. I mean, he was staying in front of him. He wasn't moving to his left like I talked about last week, keeping his lead leg outside of Gervonta's lead leg and pivoting around him, keep turning him so you don't get a chance to set his feet, to land him hard shots, and then it's just basically he had the superior firepower, Joe. Okay, all right, there's nothing you could do about that. You might have a good game plan, but if a fighter has superior God-given gifts like firepower, punching power, physical strength, that's hard to overcome, man. I don't care what kind of game plan you have.
Indeed, indeed. So we look at the congratulations to Gervonta Davis for making a real statement that, everyone is still talking about. So what's next for both men? What's next for Leo Santa Cruz at 130 pounds, Gogue?
Leo, take a long rest. See what because you got when you get knocked out like that, that's a big time concussion. So take a long rest, and I'm sure Al will find something good for him. You know what I mean? And he'll take care of him. Probably find him another one of those BS WBA title fights and everything he can win or something like that. But Al's is he's real close with Al. Al makes sure he takes care of Leo and everything. But as far as Tank. A lot of good fights. I know the fights with Lopez are going to be hard because, different networks and different promoters. And Ryan Garcia, the same situation. Devin Haney, and that's the way it is in this fucking world of boxing nowadays. But there's good. Gary Russell will be a good matchup. 130, you know what I mean? Gary Russell's undefeated featherweight. He can move up a weight to fight. What do you call it? Gervonta Davis, and they're in that part of the East Coast, one's from D.C., one's from Baltimore, so that'll be a good fight to have over there in New York City and everything, you know what I mean? That East Coast and everything. So when it opens up, but that would be a good fight, because I can't see them, I can't see him. Fighting Teofimo Lopez. Just too many politics involved, man. That's the way boxing is nowadays, Joe. He should be fighting. I mean, that's a hot division. If them guys decided to, get together and somehow made those fights possible between Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Lopez and this guy, oh, yeah, you would get a lot of buzz in boxing, okay? But, I'm kind of like, if I told you that them fights can realistically be made, I'd be lying to you.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice here with the weather changing, but my apologies. But I was just going to say, Gogue, outside of Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua and maybe Crawford versus Spence, which has actually lost a little steam over the year, last year, but is there a matchup any bigger at this point right now, considering what we've seen over the last 2 weeks? Is there a bigger matchup at 130 or in boxing than a huge fight between Gervonta Davis and Teofimo Lopez at 135 pounds?
Well, Joshua Fury, like you said. You want to talk about Munguia?
Oh, we'll talk about Munguia in just 1 second, but who would you give the initial edge to in a matchup, a superstar matchup at 135 between Davis and Lopez?
Oh, I got to go with Lopez. You know what I mean? Why? He's got the power and the physical strength to get this guy's attention, okay? All right? He's got, sharp counter puncher, crafty, smart, tough, and, Tank. He's not a bad fighter himself, though, Joe. I'm not going to, he showed me, he showed me composure and poise, and he calmed down a lot. When he first started, he just tried to overpower you with everything. You know what I mean? Because he knew he was the superior fighter. But last night you seen him. He was calm. He was composed. He was thinking out there. When he made adjustments defensively. When Leo was trying to counter, he was ready for those counters. Stuff like that and everything, man. Tank is explosive. He's quick. So is Lopez. He can hit too, Lopez. Okay. And Tank's tough, so is this guy's tough. I think it would be a hell of a fight. But I just think, what's his name? I don't know. I just have to give the edge to Lopez because he has the ability to keep Tank at range, okay, with them quick counters, that good jab, because he's got punching power, okay? All right. Leo had none. What do you think Tank just walked in that last round? Just walked him down. He had no respect for Leo's power. Because he couldn't hurt him. He can't do that with Lopez. He does that with Lopez. With them quick counters, he's going to get hurt. You know what I mean? Tank's got a good chin, but he'll get stunned. And, he'll get stunned. And Teofimo's a good finisher. So that's why I would have to give the edge in this fight, it would be to Lopez because his ability to keep him in range with them quick, sharp counters with power. What do you call it? That good, them quick jabs, the body shots, stuff like that, and everything. Tank would have to get closer to get to Lopez. And Teofimo, smart. He's smart, instinctive himself, quick hands, sharp counter puncher with power. A very good body puncher. Okay, same combinations, basically the same shit he did to Lomachenko. He'll do to this guy Tank. Okay, with them body shots and everything. So, it would be a hell of a fight, man. I think that's the best matchup, man. At 135, I think. To me, Joe, they build it. That's a pay-per-view fight, man. Yeah, that's a pay-per-view fight, and to me, that's the biggest matchup. Devin Haney, all he does is talk. Okay, he was never won a title, but they're claiming, he's saying he's the WBC champion. You see what I mean, Joe? The fuck is that? And that Ryan Garcia, they're trying to give him some type of belt, this WB silver belt or some shit like that. And you know what I mean? But he talks too much, and he ain't done shit. But he does have tools, quick hands, explosive. Okay, explosive puncher. But he's never been in a tough fight, so I don't know how big his balls are if the fight got tough. How he would behave. Same as that Haney guy. You know what I mean? I don't know how tough he is. You put him in a fight, and he has to dig down. I don't know. A lot of these young kids nowadays, they ain't got no balls. They ain't got no fire in them to fight. To come back fighting when they're hurt or when they're in a tough fight. You know what I mean? But it's interesting. Everybody, they're creating a buzz. That, right now, Joe, it is potentially the most marketable division in boxing if they fight each other. But if they don't, but the fight is Tank and Lopez. That's if Lopez decides to stay at 135. If he moves up, forget about it, man. You know what I mean? That fight, it would be that fight to me, Joe. That would be a pay-per-view fight.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, Gogue, this fight, the only chance it has of happening is if Showtime backs out of the boxing business. Because with all the money that they've spent cultivating and nurturing Gervonta Davis's brand, and as loyal as Mayweather Promotion seems to be to Steven Espinosa and Showtime Sports, there's no way in Hades that they'll be able to have a working relationship with ESPN. And the same thing, with all the money that Top Rank and ESPN has invested in nurturing Teofimo Lopez's brand, they're not going to let him compete on Showtime Sports, not in a fight that big. That's the problem, guys, that you have in trying to make this fight a reality.
Politics.
Is there enough money to where both platforms can work together? Well, we just saw how expensive that can be. And the last two networks to try and do that, Fox and ESPN, they lost millions on Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 2. So it's highly unlikely that happens anytime soon again. So the only chance this thing has of realistically happening in 2021 is if Showtime says, you know what, we're out of the fight game because we've been losing too much money and we don't have any ratings draws or money makers. That's the only chance this thing has of happening. Well, let me ask you this. We've already picked apart Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz. Once again, congratulations to Gervonta Davis getting the superb and shocking 6-round knockout over Leo Santa Cruz. In the opening bout of the pay-per-view, Gogue, can we close the book on Diego Magdaleno? He was blown out in one round by Cruz at 135 pounds in a superb performance. He pulled the Layman Brewster over Andrew Galata, didn't he? Would you like to give a couple of words or maybe an RIP to Diego Magdaleno's career?
Yeah, he should just call it. I always thought, he had no upside after especially after he got knocked out by Teofimo Lopez. Okay, I thought right then and there he's done. Then all of a sudden he's coming back fighting for IBF eliminator. I'm like, what the fuck is that about? You know what I mean? He didn't beat nobody to earn that IBF eliminator shot. So good, good for Usyk Cruz. First time I've ever seen him fight. He's an aggressive, swarming fighter who, he doesn't need 3 rounds to warm up, man. He's right on you like white on rice. And the thing, Joe, he's real aggressive and physical. But I love the way he throws his combinations inside the pocket, short, sharp, compact, and crisp. And he has a different variation of punches in there, okay? The hooks to the body, both sides, the uppercuts, a little overhand rights, stuff like that. But me, Joe, he's got to, in order for him to take his game to the next level, he's got to tone his aggressiveness down one level, okay? Because, you can't fight at a pace like that for 12 rounds, okay? You could break a guy down, especially a good, solid, top 135 pounders. You could break them down, but, you got to take your time. You do it in 12 rounds, not try to do it in 3 rounds. You're not going to do it to them real good fighters, okay? And you're going to get hit a lot. When you're over aggressive and over relentless, you're going to get hit a lot, and you might not last 12 rounds. So he needs more polish to his game to improve his a highly effective pressure attack. Like working angles, working behind his jabs, stuff like that, Joe. Moving in circles, like Chocolatito Gonzalez, stuff like that. And just not like in the fight, boy. When he was throwing every punch hard. Joe, you can't last for 12 rounds at that pace. No way. By the 5th round.
No, and
yeah. By the 5th round,
funny. Emmanuel Stewart always said this, Gogue. And he said he went back to that triangle that he always had. If you combine speed with power, you sacrifice volume. If you're one of those fighters that tries to combine all 3, speed, power, and volume, you ultimately sacrifice endurance and you become a 4-round fighter.
Yeah, because what you're doing is you're putting your foot on the pedal and you're just sucking that gas out of your engine, okay? He's got to learn how to pace himself, man, and use more controlled aggression, okay? But I like him, man. He's an exciting fighter, like Orlando. He's just Orlando Salido. Didn't fight at that rugged, fast pace like he did. Okay, and if he learns how to, because he's only 22, he learns how to control his aggression and use his aggression more intelligently. And break the guys down at a slower pace. Hey, man, you know what I mean? He'll be able to fight those marathon fights and everything, but. Yeah, when I first saw, I never seen the dude fight in my life. When I looked at him on TV, I'm like, where the hell they get this cab driver from Tijuana from? You know what I mean? I didn't know anything about him. No, I never seen him fight. I'm like, oh, jeez, how is he getting on TV? A little short guy like that, but he came out, woo. I'm like, man, where? I never seen him. But yeah, he made a statement and everything. So but can he beat all those badasses like Gervonta Davis, Gervonta Davis, Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia, and all them other guys? Okay, he's short. He's like, he's shorter than me, and you know what I mean. Can he use that type of style he has to beat them guys? It'll be hard.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're gonna enjoy watching him progress throughout his career. Like you said, he's only 22 years old, so congratulations to Mr. Isaac Cruz for making a statement and making light work of the fight veteran Diego Magdaleno. My condolences, Diego.
You want to hear about that Mario Barrios?
Oh, boy, hold on. We're getting to it, brother. We're getting to it. In the second bout of the evening, Regis Prograis came back and made short work of Juan Heraldez getting the TKO 3, and it was obvious. It's obvious that Showtime and Mayweather Promotions are trying to set up Regis Prograis versus Mario Barrios for the regular WBO or WBA junior welterweight title. When you have Josh Taylor in the division, it's almost laughable that Mario Barrios, and once again, he's a good fighter, but when you have Josh Taylor getting ready to unify the weight division with Jose Ramirez, and then you see Mario Barrios defending, well, that email belt, or whatever you want to call it, against Cowboy Ryan Carl. What business did Ryan Carl have, Gogue, competing for a version of the WBA junior welterweight title in your co-main event of the evening?
Yeah, no business. And get this, Mario Barrios, nobody has no business calling Mario Barrios the champion, okay? Now, when they get this, when they announced him as from San Antonio, Texas, the WBA junior welterweight champion of the world. I almost. You know what Josh Taylor was saying when he was watching the fight? The real WBA champion. You know what he was saying? He said, "Shit, it's Halloween night, and somebody's impersonating me as a WBA welterweight champion." That's what he was saying. You know, it was he said this is. I mean, come on. If I'm Josh Taylor and I'm watching the fight and they're announcing him as the WBA champion, you know, that would fucking irritate me, man. I'm the fucking champion. Why do you want to give that guy credit for something I've done to get, you know, to win that damn belt? Hell, man, he had to beat Regis Prograis, and he had to beat Bronchek, and who else did he beat? That Ryan Davis, I think his name. I can't remember that kid.
Yep.
Yeah, he beat, you know, 3 solid guys to win those belts, to win both those belts. And to him, you know, when I know he was watching it, because all fighters watch the fights, and when you seen that as a WBA fucking champion, junior welterweight champion, and he knows he's the real one, and he's seeing that imposter trying to impersonate him on Halloween night. Come on, man. You know, that's insulting to him, man. I mean, I would. I'm like, this is a fucking joke. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So what did you think of Mario Varrios' performance, my friend?
Yeah. The way I look at it, how would he do against the real WBA champion, Josh Taylor? He would get his ass whooped, all right? So I don't even consider him a champion, that Mario Barrios. No disrespect, but, you know, he ain't no champion. You know what I mean? He's a paper champion, a WBA paper champion. So I could care less, man. I mean, the guy he fought, you know, was, like you said, you know, what business does he have fighting for a fucking world title? He looks nothing more. He looks nothing more than an 8-round fighter. Okay, and this guy's fighting for supposedly a world title. Come on, man. That's how this business. You dilute the value, the credibility of the sport by putting on that shit. You know what I mean? But how did he look at? All I gotta say is, what would Regis Prograis do to him, or Jose Ramirez, you know, or what's that guy's name, Josh Taylor? He would get his ass.
Hopefully we finally see Mario Varrios step up in competition and take on Regis Prograis next year. But congratulations, nonetheless, to Mario Varrios, gets the big 6-round TKO over Richie Cunningham. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah.
You know, Gogue, we're at the 30-minute mark of the show. I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way, brother, because this has been really bothering me. We had all these great fights this past weekend, Friday and Saturday night, right? And even Saturday day from across the pond on DAZN. And then what's the big story of the weekend? Deontay Wilder accusing Tyson Fury, Mark Breland, Ricky Hatton, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission, as well as the WBC, of foul play. Now, guys, once again, I downloaded the MP3 here of the video, so I'm going to play it for you. And then after this, Gogue, I want to get your thoughts on this. And, we have a couple questions for you from some of your fans. So here it is, guys, in its entirety, Deontay Wilder's strange and delusional diatribe on Twitter.
The Bible tells us that silence is gold, but my ears can still hear and my eyes can still see. The Bible also tells us to be swift to hear and slow to speak. You see, what you don't understand, thief, what you did is what my people deal with all the time. Someone cheating them from providing their greatness into the world. But it's a burden that we cut off only to make us stronger. I saw in the first fight where Ricky Hatton was pulling down your gloves to put your fist in the improper position. Y'all tried the same method the second time, but this time you scratched flesh out of my ears, which caused my ears to bleed. It's impossible for a brand new 10-ounce glove to bend, to keep a smushed in form, or to have loose space. I highly believe you put something hard in your glove, something the size and the shape of an egg weight. Here's the reason why the side of my face swelled up in an egg weight form. And it left a dent in my face as well. But in the midst of it all, you still couldn't keep this king down. You would have had to kill me. In the end, it took a crab-in-a-bucket referee and a disloyal trainer to throw the towel in just to stop me. Proverbs, the 6th chapter, 30 and 31st says, excuses may be found from a thief who steals because he is starving. But if he is caught, he will have to pay back 7 times what he stole, even if he has to sell everything in his house. And payback is coming.
All right. Well, that's it in its entirety, folks. The Deontay Wilder diatribe 2-minute video that he released yesterday on the Twitterverse, and it quickly blew up. Gogue, I think it's hilarious. One, wasn't it hilarious him trying to put that ominous piano music in the background to try and make it more dramatic?
Oh, jeez, like someone playing a violin. You know what I mean? Cry me a river. You know what I mean? Oh,
look,
geez.
I'll say this before you go off, right? I'll say this. If it weren't so damn sad, it would be absolutely hilarious. Your initial thoughts on this, and I've got some questions for you about this, but your initial thoughts on the excuse train from Deontay Wilder.
Losers make excuses, okay, Joe? That's what losers always make excuses. To me, Joe, he's delusional. You know, he's been punched too much. It's like he's got dementia, you know. It's like he's Joe Biden. You know what I mean, Joe? You know, he's losing it. He just ain't got it no more. I mean, come on, man. All these bullshit excuses he was giving. Like I said, losers always make excuses, okay? Instead of making excuses why he lost the fight and, you know, bullshit excuses, find the reasons why he really lost the fight, you know? He didn't have the skill levels of Tyson Fury, okay? Tyson Fury was a better fighter, better skills, the higher boxing IQ. That's what won the fight, not this fucking bullshit, the gloves and this and that. Come on, man, Joe, man, they got like 2 inspectors in the corner, man, looking out for any kind of shenanigans if you're trying to tamper with the gloves or do this or that, or if you're you know what I mean, Joe, if you're trying to put Vaseline on the gloves, dude, Joe, they got 2 or 3 inspectors in the dressing room, you know, watching the gloves, okay, watching
as
you
well as a
hands,
member. As well as a member of the opposing team, Gogue.
Yeah, when you're wrapping the hands, they got one guy from the like you said, the opposing team gets to come in and watch you wrap the guy.
In this case,
it
was. That's right. In this case, it was JD's.
Yeah, they let you or wrap the hands and everything, so you're not to make sure you're going by the rules and everything, and they got. Dude, I've been through so many of that shit, man, where I go into the dressing room, where they come to mine, I'm wrapping their hands, inspector guys there, and, you know what I mean? And so you're not going to try nothing stupid, okay? You're not going to try to be Javier Capitillo and try to sneak in that little plaster of Paris under the wraps, okay? That was a ballsy move by him, by the way, okay? When he tried to put that plaster of Paris under Antonio Margarito's hand wraps when he fought what do you call it? Shane Mosley and
Yep.
Nassim
Richardson. Nassim Richardson busted 2 trainers trying to do that.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Felix Trinidad got busted for it too, didn't he? When he fought Bernard Hopkins. Not for what do you call it? Trying to put a plaster of Paris in the knuckles under his wraps. Okay, he did. He was probably. I think it was stacking the wraps where you wrap your fighters, where you wrap your fighters' hands. Oh, that's
with,
right. He was accused of putting too much hard tape
on the
knuckles, right?
No. When you wrap your fighters' hands, you tape it. Then you put another pair of wraps. Then you put another pair of wraps over the tape. Then you tape it again. It's called stacking the wraps, okay? And it just makes sure you wrap your hands with the gauze. You put tape around it. Then all of a sudden you put another layer of gauze around the tape, or around your fighter's hands. Then you put another layer of tape. Okay, you're paying. You know what I mean? Once you put tape around your fighter's hands, you can't put gauze over it. Okay, and put tape over it, because that pretty much makes your fist a lot harder. To me, it has no difference. Like, it just makes your hand a lot harder. I mean, it makes your hand a lot more secure, where you're not going to break your hand. But they claim that your hand becomes like a fist, and that's what happens. He was stacking the wraps. That's all. When he was wrapping, taping, and he wasn't putting the tape over the knuckles. Not because the commission guy is right there. You got to put it. You got to put it a quarter of inch. When you're putting tape around the right by the knuckle, it's not on top of the knuckle. It's a quarter inch below the knuckle. Okay, just to keep that gauze secured in there. But they were for the Nazas, didn't like the way he was stacking the wraps. He thought it would make, which is illegal. You know what I mean? Which is illegal because the commissions claim and other commissions claim that it makes your hand like a fist, like a what do you call it, like a cast, but it just protects your fighter's hands, and that's what the big complaint. But that Capetillo, he did something criminal, man. He tried to put that little plaster of Paris in there, and the stuff they use to make casts, and he tried to put it in his a knuckle and everything. So but there's commission, like back to this thing. They got commission guys there. And, a big fight like this, they probably have 2 or 3 guys in there. And one guy's, washing the gloves. The gloves are in, the gloves are in plastic. You know what I mean? Only time you could remove them from the plastic is when you're getting ready for the fight to put them on. And you can't put them on unless another member of the other opposing camp is there to watch you put on the gloves and stuff like that and put on the tape and all that. So, Joe, he's just making a bunch of bullshit excuses, man. You know what I mean? He's delusional.
Yeah, also, between each round, referee Kenny Bayless will check the gloves for each fighter.
I know if you slip and your gloves touch the canvas, he'll wipe them off on his shirt, but I don't think the commission guys are there, man. They're checking out everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's, especially Vegas, man. They're like, you know what I mean? Every little thing you do wrong, I mean, in California, that last title fight I worked with when we fought Ray Vargas, my guy Franken Tanzania, and these fucking idiot commissions, man. They're overregulated. They're every little thing they would trip on. And they don't even allow cussing in the corner. It's a fucking joke, man.
Wow.
You can't cuss in the corner. Yeah, man. I mean, that's how fucked up it's become. That's why I'm sick of this. It's overregulated. So for them to say that, you know what I mean, that the gloves were being tampered. and Joe, night before the fight, I mean, after the weigh-in, you have the rules meeting, the WBC or whatever sanctioning body rules meeting, and that's when you inspect the gloves and choose the gloves. And when you choose the gloves, Joe, both team members, if you got a pair of gloves that you want, okay, commission signs off on it, and the opposing camp signs off it. They check it to make sure everything's right. Okay, these gloves are good. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, it's all right for him to use it. So when the opposing, when your opponent's team approves of the gloves that you're going to use, they sign off on it. The commission signs off on it, and you sign off on it. Okay, so you know what I mean, Joe? Just and they do this the night before the fight. Then after you pick your gloves and everybody signs, you initial the gloves. They steal them in the back where you don't where they take it where they take it back to their hotel room. Nobody sees it, and until the next day when you fight. When it's time to fight, in the dressing room, the gloves are in the bag, and when you're ready to put them on, you pull them out of the what do you call it, Joe? The bag, and put them on and ready to fight. And another team.
Yeah, they're always wrapped in this saran wrap, this plastic.
Yeah, but when you're putting on the gloves, the opposing teams, opposing team members, they're checking you when you're putting on the gloves. So that's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, like I said, Joe.
Yep. Well, like I said, we've already spent too much time on this, but this is just bullshit from people, and once again, these rumors were started by people who have never been in the locker room and really don't understand protocol that these state athletic commissions and sanctioning organizations actually take, and these measures that they take before every major fight. But I want to get your thoughts on this before we move forward, Gogue. Now, when he put out this video, it was attached to a statement from Deontay Wilder saying this, quote, "Tyson Fury, it is time for you to be a man and honor your agreement. What is this bullshit of you fighting Carlos Takam instead of me? You've got to be kidding," end quote. Gogue, so this guy is accusing him of criminal activity in the ring, and then he's asking for a third fight? If you're Team Fury, what would you do?
Call my lawyer and sue him. File a lawsuit. Defamation of character. That's what I would do. Got to keep his mouth shut. Because, Joe, if you don't do that, he's going to keep running his mouth, accusing you of this and that and this and that. And the way social media is, they'll start believing this bullshit, okay? Slandering his reputation, slandering his name, man. You could be sued for that. I mean, they do it all the time. In Hollywood. So I'd sue him. And that'll shut him up real quick, okay? And if he continues to slander his name when he's being sued, well, guess what? That's just going to strengthen his case even more. I'd sue him.
Yep. Well, guys, expect suits to be filed if this keeps up by not only Tyson Fury's camp, but also Mark Breland. Gogue, it's sick. For all the time and effort and devotion that Mark Breland has shown to Deontay Wilder over his entire professional career, he deserves so much better than this. Your final thoughts on Mark Breland?
Yeah, Mark's a good guy, man. I know Mark way back then, when he was fighting, when he started coaching. He's a good guy. He's a good man. The former WBA welterweight champion. He's a good man of character, a good man of, a good man morally, a good man of character, and what he did in that Tyson Fury fight, he thought he did what was best for the fighter, because the fighter would have got real hurt if that idiot JD's, JD's didn't want to stop it. So Mark, who's got a lot more experience, stepped in to make sure he didn't get hurt real bad. And how did he get rewarded? A big F you and slandered his name. I'd sue him too. If I was Mark Breland, I'd sue him too. Because Joe, look, you don't do this shit, man. Okay. You're letting them walk all over you, okay? And you're letting some scumbag ruin your reputation out there. You know what I mean? And so I would sue the shit out of him, man. Yeah, I'd sue him, and just to clear my name and get some money out of it, okay? And that is shut his stupid ass up. Watch.
But guys, don't be surprised if no one wants to give this point forward. Don't be surprised if no one wants to work with Deontay Wilder from this point forward. At least any major commodities in boxing, like Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, no one like that. I wouldn't want to work with him after this, Gogue. I mean, this guy is not only a sore loser, but once again, like you stated, he's slandering everyone involved. This guy does not deserve another multi-million-dollar payday. He needs therapy, is what he needs, not another shot to the face. No more damage to the brain. So that's it, Gogue. We're going to move on.
Yeah, let's
talk about the real fights now, the real stories in boxing. Congratulations to Jaime Munguia in what I think was his toughest test to date as a 160-pound fighter, and he gets the sensational but absolutely horrific knockout in the 6th round against the always tough Tureano Johnson. Gogue, this was as grotesque as it gets. In my opinion, it reminded me, it was reminiscent of Arturo Gatti in his last fight against Alfonso Gomez, getting his lip split in Atlantic City. Your thoughts, though, on the improvement or non-improvement of your favorite defensive fighter, Jaime Munguia?
Well, Joe, this guy surprised me and a lot of people. How he just, how aggressively he just attacked and swarmed them. Like Isaac Cruz did last night to Diego Magdaleno and stayed on him. Didn't give Jaime Munguia the space he needed to, use his footwork, use his jab, his feints, his combinations from range and everything, like he did in the O'Sullivan fight. In the O'Sullivan fight, he showed me improvement, okay? He was more patient. He was more calculating. He was working his jab to set up his combination, working his feints, moving his head, his footwork, circling, but this guy didn't give him the chance to do all that and everything. Andre Rozier had a good game plan, and try to, overpower and outmuscle this guy. And, Munguia is not a real skilled inside fighter. You see him from the fight, he was getting pushed around because he doesn't have the proper fundamentals of fighting a pressure fighter, which is, starts with a good fundamental stance that gives you the leverage where you don't get pushed around or get pushed back like Munguia was. And his defense is terrible inside. He had his left hand low all the time. He was getting hit by that right hand over the top. When you're fighting inside, you got to keep your hands up. You got to keep your elbows tucked in, okay? And you got to keep you got to drop your weight and plant that back foot, in the mat where you're not getting pushed back, okay? And stuff like that, or working angles. He has no clue on how to work angles on the inside, stuff like that. He's not really fundamentally sound in everything. He's more comfortable fighting at range or medium range than his combinations go. But them uppercuts, started landing. Them uppercuts started finding a home, after during the second round on, and that really busted his face up, and eventually, that last uppercut busted his lip open, and he was getting real beat up real bad, and it's good that they stopped it and everything. And Munguia, look, since Canelo was on the sideline, okay, he ain't gonna be fighting for a while, okay? When you're in I don't care. I mean, unless Canelo decides to change his mind and drop the lawsuit, but I just can't see that happening. So, Munguia, to me, since Canelo's on the sideline, this kid, could be the, what do you call it? He could take over that Mexico Cinco de Mayo date next year, 2021, with Triple G. They're both with the zone. They can make it happen. You know what I mean? And that's a fight Triple G would accept. Munguia and everything. You know what I mean? Because and he's gonna be 39 years old. Everybody said, "Oh man, Triple G's too tough for him. He's too tough for him." I don't think so. He's slowed down a bit. His reflexes aren't as good as like when he was younger. He gets hit more. Okay, to me, Joe, he's not a 30-year-old Triple G who was terrorizing opponents when he came up here in 2012. He's slowed down a lot. He's not the same. He's got a lot of miles on his engine, especially after that fight with Derevchenko. Okay, now he's getting a fresher, younger thoroughbred in Munguia. And if Munguia boxes intelligently like he did that O'Sullivan and keeps it at range and distance, I think he'll give what's his name everything he can handle. And because Golovkin ain't just gonna move forward and try to bull rush you like this Tureano Johnson. Golovkin likes to work at range, long and medium range. Okay, not in the inside. He's not a good inside fighter, but long and medium range is effective. And and that'll give Munguia a chance. Munguia to use his distance game, his footwork, jab, his combinations, the feints, his defense. You know what I mean? His head movement, stuff like that. And I think it'd be a competitive fight on Cinco de Mayo Day since Canelo's on the sidelines, because Cinco de Mayo Day is the biggest day in boxing in the USA because of Mexicans. Mexicans are the number one market in boxing. That's what drives boxing in the USA is Mexican. Like Gervonta Davis, he tried to win the Mexican crowd over with that fucking sombrero and the Mexican colors and all that shit. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. You know what I mean? But anyway, you know what I mean? It doesn't work like that, man. You know what I mean? You got to be Mexican. Okay, it's this sport is like Don Chargan told me, when he was promoting. It's an ethnic-driven sport. Back in the days, he said he used to put Irish fighters against Italian fighters. He said that were big draws, or just different ethnic races fighting each other. And he told me that was they were the big competitive matchups. It's just like boxing right now. You know what I mean? Mexicans are going to stick with their own, their their blood, especially their countrymen. Okay. Now that Gervonta Davis, he's trying to do like Floyd did. Well, Floyd was probably Floyd's idea, but Floyd has a more outgoing, jovial personality that people like. Floyd will transcend all races: white, black, Mexican, Chinese, Filipino. Floyd is just, he's got that type of personality where people will gravitate towards him. Gervonta, nah. But like I said, it's like this guy Munguia. He could be the, he beats Golovkin. He could be the star of Mexico, and it'll set him up with a potential showdown with Canelo for the Battle of Mexico. You know what I mean, Joe? To me, it was a big win. Did he look impressive doing it? Did he get hit a lot? And he got hit a lot. And was he impressive? Not like he was against O'Sullivan, but Cinco de Mayo. And guess what? I put that on Twitter, and Beltran agreed with me. They go, that's Fernando Beltran, his promoter. And they agree. They want to. That's the fight they want to make, and they think their guy could beat Golovkin. Okay, so Cinco de Mayo day, Joe, boxing's biggest day. What do you think Mayweather always wanted to fight on that day? Because Joe, pay-per-view. Okay, boxing Cinco de Mayo, number one, and everybody wants that. That sacred date. Everybody wants to fight on that sacred date. But anyway, like I said, Joe, Munguia, Tank can't fight on that date, but Munguia can. And DAZN with Golovkin, they're both in the They're both on the same on the same network. Yeah, realistically, I think that's a realistic fight that could be made. When I put this on Twitter, I was getting bashed by everybody. Are you crazy? He'll get murdered and this and that. I said, who gives a shit? I told everybody, who gives a shit? I just want to see a good fight. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I think it'll be a good fight. Will he get murdered? I don't know. But if he does, as long as it's a good fight, I don't care. I just want to see a good fight. Shit.
Yeah, and right now without Canelo, DAZN desperately needs those stars to step up, and they need to start cultivating the fighters properly and start turning them into stars. And you only become stars by putting them in great matchups. That's it, Gogue.
And Golovkin,
either that or you keep them active.
All the Mexicans know Golovkin. Okay?
That's right.
Golovkin's got a huge Mexican fan base. Everybody knows Golovkin from his fights with Canelo, okay? Has, And Golovkin it's weird. He's probably the only fighter that transcended into the Mexican culture, you know what I mean? Where he's been accepted by Mexicans, okay? Just because of his humble personality, the way the way they market him has a knockout killer, you know what I mean? Like in the image of Carlos Zarate, you know what I mean, or Ruben Oliveras, you know what I mean? Knockout punchers, Alfonso Zamora back in the days, you know what I mean? And Abel did a good job, making that, with the Mexican style. Yeah, we fight Mexicans. They love that shit. Mexicans, they want to see a fight. And Golovkin, plus he fought in Southern Cal a lot, so they, you know what I mean. He developed a fan base.
That's right.
And they market Tom Loeffler. They did a great job. And Golovkin already got a Hispanic fan base, and this guy has he's from Mexico, so he's going to have a Hispanic fan base. And get this, Joe, you ain't got to put on the zone. Don't do pay-per-view. Still be on the zone. Fuck, make the fucking match. What are they? You know what I mean? Make the fucking match.
Yep. I agree, Gogue. I'm co-sign 100%, brother. I tell you what, we're already an hour into the show. We still have a ton of stuff to cover. So let's move on to the next item up for bid on The Price is Right. The one taking place, speaking of DAZN, the other fight that they featured this weekend in the main event of the evening from London, England at the Wembley Arena. Oleksandr Usyk wins a unanimous 12-round decision over Dereck Delboy Chisora. Gogue, what were your thoughts on seeing these two big men lumber and suck win around the ring for 12 rounds?
Joe, it wasn't entertaining. I mean, Usyk moved too much. Usyk is great at range and distance, but when you get him close up, he don't know how to fight in the pocket. He don't know how to throw the short, sharp, crisp combinations at close range, okay? He'll just smother you and pivot around you or whatever, okay? But from range and distance, he boxes good. He moves good, but he doesn't have the power, okay, of a heavyweight, okay? He has the power of a cruiserweight, and he doesn't have that power to hurt these heavyweights. And, Joe, he's got a problem. When he fights one of them big heavyweights like, Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua, or even a guy like Povetkin, he's going to have problems. And them guys, their natural size and weight and punching power, they're going to hurt that guy. Me personally, Joe, he moves good and everything, Joe. But it wasn't impressive, Joe. And he didn't make it a big statement like he needs to warrant a fight with the winner of Joshua and Fury, okay? And it was Joe, he moved around too much, okay? I'm the kind of guy, man, okay, it's all right to box, but when you got to fight at close quarters, fight. Don't tie the guy up and wait for the ref to break you and so you can get back in range. I'm the kind of guy that I'm old school. When the fight goes from long range to short range in the pocket, I want to see the continuous ebb and flow action of the fight. Okay, I don't want to see them two, grabbing each other, hugging each other, and looking for the ref, to break them up. I want to see the fight continue into the pocket where you got to use different skill sets. And Usyk doesn't have that. And yeah, he didn't. Like I said, Joe, it was painful to watch for 12 rounds.
Yeah, it was painful to watch, and I was surprised at the judges' scorecards.
Yeah.
Maybe you won't be. Give me your opinion of the scorecards, because the final scorecards were two of the judges scored the fight 115-113, or 7 rounds to 5, and then the other judge scored it 117-112, or 9 rounds to 3 with maybe one even. Gogue, did you see it that way?
Joe, honestly, I wasn't even scoring the fight. I was just like, oh God, like, can this fight get over? And can we get to the Tank Davis fight? Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, well, did you see Dereck Chisora winning 5 rounds of that, or do you think like it was so uneventful that maybe you should have scored all 12 rounds even?
It was so uneventful. I was just like, come on, man, let's get this fight over with. I don't care who wins. I want to see a real fight. Come on, Santa Cruz Davis. Let's get this shit done. I mean, that's what I was thinking, Joe, honestly.
I think most of us were thinking that as well. But credit to Dereck Chisora. Boy, he's a real horse, making it 12 rounds. And congratulations to Oleksandr Usyk getting the formality of the unanimous decision victory. And for the robbery of the weekend, George Kambosos Jr. gets the split decision victory over Lee Selby. Oh, boy. With scorecards reading 115-114 for Selby, and then 118-110 and 116-112 for George Kambosos Jr. We're not going to spend much time on that, Gogue, but that was a terrible decision. A terrible decision. My word. So let's move on, Gogue. Congratulations to Naoya Inoue getting the 7-round spectacular knockout over the game Jason Maloney. I tell you what, credit to Jason Maloney here, Gogue, because he's a very good fighter. He's fast. He's got good crack in his shot, and he's got very good footwork. But Naoya Inoue made him look very normal,
ordinary,
on Saturday night. Your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, honestly, Joe, I thought he would annihilate him within 4 rounds. So this guy, lasting 3 more rounds, hey, I got to give him credit for that. But, he did what I thought he was going to do. Everything I talked about it, Inoue, one of the game's most explosive punchers, a devastating body puncher, a fundamentally sound fighter, works his jab beautifully, okay? Great footwork, moving in and out of range, okay? Beautiful combinations he throws, okay? And what do you call it, Joe? Like I said, anytime he can hit you, he'll hurt you. The first knockdown with that counter check left hook timed it beautifully. What's the name? Threw a jab. Kind of like not a lazy jab, but not really a fast jab where he could see it and he just timed him with a counter left hook and put him on his ass. And the second time was he threw another lazy ass jab, a slow jab, and he, just countered with a right hand over the top and caught him right on the button. Yeah, the guy, like I said, he's got frightening punching power, okay, and great technical skills, intelligence, devastating body puncher, tough, and he's got that toughness, Joe, too. Don't forget, in that Donaire fight, he really had to dig down deep, okay, and overcome those tough moments in a fight and forge ahead. I call that mental intestinal fortitude. And that Inoue, he got that. He's a complete fighter, man. Let me tell you. Oh, yeah, he's good. I mean, he's solid. He's a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, man. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, and like I said, Top Rank just signed him, and, they're the best promoters in boxing. They'll do what's best for this kid's career to get him the marketability he needs here in America to become a real star. But, honestly, Joe, all these guys coming over from foreign countries, they want to be, because in order to make it in boxing, you want to be a star, you got to come to America, okay? And you got to make it big. But you got to learn the fucking language, okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to learn how to speak English. Like all them Russians and Uzbekistan guys and all them fucking guys that come over here, they're good fighters, but they can't speak English. How the hell are you gonna market them to the American audience when they can't understand them? You gotta speak the language, man. Canelo, we got a huge Hispanic fan base. He understands Spanish. He speaks a little bit, but he doesn't speak it, fluently like Manny Pacquiao. Yeah. See, Manny Pacquiao, the reason why he transcended it into the masses, Joe, he learned English. What happened when he learned English? And he was making them, after the spectacular fights he had, he was going on all those big talk shows. What's that guy, man, on ABC?
Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, he was on the Kimmel Show a lot. And other talk shows. He was even singing songs on Jimmy Kimmel. Come on, that's when you ascend to the masses, Joe. Okay, that's when you transfer over to the masses, not just to the boxing fans, but the people that don't watch boxing. You know what I mean? He started singing songs on Jimmy Kimmel and everything, and you know what I mean? That's how you market yourself. But he learned, he couldn't speak a lick of English. I remember Manny Pacquiao when he first got here. He fought Barrera.
He didn't know any English at that point. I was at that fight at in the Alamo Dome.
Well, we fought on the undercard, Joe, and we were in the room. We were in the room where all the fighters were, and we were sitting on the same table. We were playing pool. Then afterwards we sat down, and me and Raul Marquez were sitting down with Freddie and Manny, and Manny, he didn't speak English at all. He didn't speak English. Then all of a sudden, he learned it years later and everything. And now when you have the ability to speak English, you can communicate to all to the media. You can communicate to all the fans that are tuning into you, where they grow that attachment to you, Joe, where you build that bond. But if you don't speak the fucking language, how the hell are you gonna build that bond, that attachment to the American audience if you're trying to speak it Uzbekistan, or Russian, or you know what I mean, Joe? It doesn't work. Mm-hmm. You got to learn the language, man. No, I'm not trying to be racist or anything. I'm just trying to say, if you want to win fans over, you gotta learn the language. Now look at Canelo. He never translated into a big transcender, when you transcend to the transcending star to the masses, to the other races out there. Because he never learned the language. You never seen Canelo on the Jimmy Kimmel Show or the other mainstream media shows. Am I right, Joe?
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Have you? Only time you've seen him is in the Spanish. So he only stayed in that Spanish market. But if he would have learned the damn English language and made an effort like Pacquiao did, he would have been on Jimmy Kimmel. Could you imagine if he was on Jimmy Kimmel and all these other mainstream shows, how much more popular he would be with his personality,
humongous,
his charm? You know what I mean?
Yep, humongous.
Would you agree? Yeah,
absolutely.
And Canelo could sing. Canelo could sing one of those Mexican novella love songs on there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Perish the thought, brother. But yeah, we get what you're saying. That Inoue in order to become that breakout crossover star, absolutely.
You gotta learn the
because
language.
he certainly has the skill and the style, the allure in the ring. But, yeah, he needs to work on learning English if he's going to become a rock star in America. But I tell you what, we need to move on, though. Congratulations to Inoue. He gets the 7-round knockout against the very tough Jason Maloney. Look forward to seeing both guys back in the ring. Credit to Michaela Meyer for winning her first female world title. She won the WBO super featherweight title in the female division against Eva Brodnicka of Poland. And I'll say this, and this deserves honorable mention, Gogue. Credit to Robson Conceição for getting the impressive unanimous decision 10-round victory over Luis Correa. I tell you what, Luis Correa has to be one of the best 12-4 fighters in recent memory. That guy just it almost reminds me of a Russell Peltz fighter. This guy is tough, and he's always in wars. If you haven't seen this fight, guys, in my opinion, it's been the best preliminary bout since the return of since the pandemic, right? Check it out on YouTube, guys. It's there in its entirety. Robson Conceição versus Luis Correa. It's an absolute war and a fight of the year candidate. But I tell you what, Gogue, we do need to move on. Let's take a look at now this upcoming weekend's action. The first one is going to be on Fox, the flagship channel, November 7th, Friday. It's going to be the return of Luis, the real King Kong Ortiz, taking on Oleksandr Flores. And this is his first bout since getting stopped in the 7th round by Deontay Wilder last December, or is it November? I think it's the first week in December of 2019 on Showtime pay-per-view. Yeah, and so this is going to be his first effort back in the ring since then. And it's going to be your 10-round main event in the heavyweight division. Gogue, are you a little surprised to see this on Fox flagship, Luis Ortiz versus Oleksandr Flores?
No, it's Al. That's the way Al does his shit. Al puts his best fights on pay-per-view where he makes you pay, and his worst fights on Fox and Showtime. That doesn't surprise me, and I'm not going to watch it, Joe. It doesn't appeal to me. Like I said, Joe, I don't watch a lot of boxing. The only fights that appeal to me, and this doesn't get me excited, so I'm not even tuning in, and I don't care who's fighting on the card. Who cares? How old is he?
Well, I tell you what,
48?
let's take a look. Well, I'm sorry, it's going to be Saturday night on Fox. My apologies, guys. It's going to be Saturday, November 7th on Fox at the same time, Gogue. What's going to be going on in Hollywood, Florida on DAZN. Your main event of the evening is going to be Devin Haney versus old man Yuriorkis Gamboa in your 12-round main event. And that's going to be for Haney's WBC lightweight email title. Gogue, your thoughts on this matchup? I'm not going to say anything, Gogue. What are your thoughts on this matchup, my friend?
He's 38 years old. He's a fucking opponent, man. I mean, come on. This guy has no chance of winning. Okay. I mean, what can you say, man? I mean, he's 38 years old. He had his time. You know, them Cuban fighters lie too, Joe. They always lie their age. So he might be 44. Hell, that's all I know. You know what I mean? You can't tell with these Cuban fighters how old they are, man. Okay, like Luis Ortiz. Oh, what is he? What they say? He's 40 years old. More like 48 years old, man. Come on, man. But anyway, I mean, come on, man. And they're advertising this, like I said, it's disrespectful for the sport, when disrespectful to the real WBC champion, Teofimo Lopez, when they're advertising this guy as the WBC champion, as a WBC title fight. Come on, man. I mean, it's back to that same old shit. Are we that dumb? No. You know what I mean? He's not a champion. He never beat nobody to get that title. They just, Mauricio, man. Oh, Jesus, man. He's really fucked that organization up, just like Mendoza has fucked up the WBC with all this bullshit. You know what I mean? And look, to me, I'm not really, I always like to watch team. I always like watching the young prospect come, the young prospects come up and everything, and just him fighting this old shot opponent. Okay, and they're trying to advertise it as a WBC title fight. That doesn't appeal to me, Joe. And you know what I mean, Joe? How many new subscription customers is he going to drive, Devin Haney? You know what I mean?
I'll say this, Gogue. There's a lot more interest in this fight just because of the two big hits that Teofimo Lopez and Gervonta Davis just made in the lightweight division. So a lot of people are looking to Devin Haney saying, well, can you do one better? That seems to be the only allure here. And to be honest with you, against a guy like Yorkis Gamboa, yeah, he's a guy that you can knock out. Your final thoughts on the style matchup? Do you think Gamboa at 38 has nothing left? Do you think he just left it all in the ring against Gervonta Davis last year? And do you think Devin Haney is just going to be too sharp, too strong for him?
Yeah, I think I think Devin Haney is going to be too sharp, too strong. But you never know how a fight's going to play out. I think there's going to be honestly, Joe, it's going to be a mismatch. What makes me get excited watching a mismatch when I know the guys has no chance of winning? Come on now, If I get a chance to watch it, I'll watch it. If I don't get a chance, if I don't watch it and miss it, ain't no big deal. It ain't like Santa Cruz, Tank Davis, or Munguia, Tureano Johnson, or Usyk, or Inoue last night. I wanted to watch those fights. This fight is Luis Ortiz. Oh, definitely no. I'm not watching that shit. Hell no. And what do you call it? This Devin Haney. We'll see. It doesn't excite me because I know the dude he's fighting is old and shot, and he's gonna blow him out. You know what I mean?
Well, welcome to the Matchroom Night of Mismatches, because that's your main event of the evening. And in your co-main of the main event of the evening, you've got the Big Bang, the return of the Big Bang, Zhang, taking on Devin Vargas. In your 10-round co-main event, that's another mismatch, Gogue. And then in your opening bout of the evening, you've got the real stud, Filip Hrgović, undefeated heavyweight, 11-0 with 9 knockouts, taking on the very shop-worn Rydell Booker. So congratulations, Eddie Hearn, putting on a night of mismatches on DAZN. Thanks for playing.
Eddie Hearns is really fucked up that DAZN shit. I mean, come on, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's good in England, but he's not a good promoter for America, man. They should have gave those dates at Golden Boy. Robert Diaz did a better job of putting better matchups with that huge stable of fighters they got at Golden Boy that need fights, okay? And, Eddie Hearns, he's done just a fucking terrible job with all his dates. And to me, I like I said, Joe, I could care less about that card.
Let me ask you something, Gogue. Let me ask you something also. Why does he keep going to Florida? Have you ever known Florida to be a hotbed or a real boxing state that comes out and supports these events? Have you ever seen a huge event in Florida?
Well, this quarantine shit, you know what I mean? They got a place where they could do the fights, where they could put people in the bubble and everything, Top Rank got the MGM Grand. They probably got an exclusive over there. Golden Boy got an exclusive at Fantasy Springs Casino. Al has a exclusive over there at the Mohegan Sun and in L.A. So they needed a place where they could put the fights, in Florida. It's not going to be no crowd there, I don't think.
So they've got the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida.
Yeah, they can lock everybody down. They can have, put everybody in the bubble, and they can have more of a control environment and everything, yeah. Eddie and
I'll tell you what, it's going to take place this Saturday night on November 7th. Gogue, your thoughts, though. I mean, is there any of these fighters that you're looking forward to? Zhang?
None.
Filip Hrgović?
None.
Are you looking forward to any of that?
None. I'm not going to watch none of us. So this is how you ruin boxing. Instead of, you're coming off a great week of boxing, consistency, continuality. That's what gets, fans excited about the sport. Now, you're sticking this shit on. And, it's like, boxing tries to get some momentum going forward, and then you got a flat tire by putting this shit on, my son. That's the way boxing is, though.
Wow.
It's a fucking joke.
Well, the only thing that we have to look forward to, and you don't like this fight either, do you, Gogue? On November 14th in the bubble at the MGM Grand, we've got Terrence Crawford versus Kell Brook on ESPN for Crawford's WBO welterweight title in your main event of the evening. And then in the co-main event of the evening, you've got Josh Franco defending his WBA regular title in a rematch against Maloney.
Well, like I said, Joe, the first fight with Franco and Maloney was good, so that intrigued me to watch it again and watch Maloney get his ass whooped, beat worse. And the Crawford's always fun to watch. I like Crawford. To me, the top pound for pound fighter in the world, skill wise, intelligence, IQ, and all that. So I just don't like his opponent. Fucking terrible. But then, like I said, it's hard to get opponents when them fucking idiots at PBC don't want to cross the street. So I'll watch that fight, because of Crawford, and I want to see that rematch and watch, Franco, whoop that guy's ass even worse. So we'll see what happens.
And I tell you what, credit for Top Rank also, because Joshua Franco, he's still signed with Golden Boy Promotions, isn't he?
Yeah, but they ain't got no TV dates, so they're shipping their fighters out to different, promoters to keep their fighters busy, And like I said, Eddie, they should just give all those dates to Golden Boy Robert Diaz, because Robert will make some a lot better matches than this fucking Eddie Hearns. Robert will put some matches on where people like me who love boxing will tune in just to watch. Not like this fucking shit Eddie Hearns is putting on, man. It's fucking garbage. Yeah, Eddie, I said that.
Guys, and once again, Gogue's not being a hater. Once again, he just loves the sport. Think about this. You've got someone like trainer James Gogue, who's been a lifelong proponent and has devoted his livelihood to the instruction of the sport. When you get a gentleman who's devoted his life, the greater portion of his life, to the sport of boxing, and he doesn't want to tune in, that's a problem, guys. That's a problem. So, Gogue, we're at the end of the line, almost 90 minutes once again, brother. Do you have any parting shots for our listening audience?
No, just thank all the fans all over the world, for tuning in, and love all you guys, especially all our great fans in England. I just can't wait for this, this pandemic, scamdemic to go away, so we can start getting big crowds at fights to make boxing exciting like it should be and everything, with great matchups, of course. Not some of the shit you're seeing now, but yeah, I love the sport, Joe. I hate the fucking business and the politics and the matchups that they put on. But I love this. I love going to the gym every day, and it keeps me young, working with these young kids, teaching them the sweet science and the fundamentals of the sport. And I love seeing good fights, like the Munguia fight. Everybody's bashing me. Oh, you're crazy. They shouldn't put him in with that. Who cares? What the fuck? Are you his manager or a matchmaker? Throw him in there. Shit, if he gets his ass whooped, as long as it's a good fight, I want to see it. And that's what the fans want to see. Come on, man. Shit, man. Fans are starting to be matchmakers. Who cares? I want to see a good fight. That's a great fight, him and Golovkin.
You know what, Gogue? I tell you what, for that, brother, that deserves the big War Week round of applause, brother. God bless you, brother. But we're at the end of the line, guys. We want to thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us past the time. And in case you missed any part of this show, it's going to be on YouTube, right? It's going to be on our YouTube channel, War Week Radio Network channel. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. On behalf of James Gogue, I'm Joseph Herron. You've been listening to War Week Radio. Have a great Sunday evening, everybody.